The Obi-Wan Kenobi limited series on Disney Plus is one of the most watched Star Wars shows. The premiere, after all, was the biggest premiere on the platform with over 11 million viewers in just 3 days. It's also one of the most beloved, and so if you're like us, those 6 episodes just leave you yearning for more Obi-Wan. Never fear though, because the Obi-Wan content absolutely does not stop there. In fact, if you've only watched the series, you've just taken your first step into a larger world. There's so much exciting Obi-Wan content both in the past, in recent history, and in the coming weeks. Let's dive into what you should read after watching Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hi everyone, I'm Nathan Emery, content creator here at Youtini, and I'll be your guide to everything Obi-Wan. Before we jump into the books, let's talk timeline and reading order. The Obi-Wan series takes place in 9 BBY, or 9 years before the events of A New Hope. That means there's content that takes place both before and after the series chronologically, so I'll start from the beginning and move through all that you should read in timeline order. Now in this video, I'll give recommendations both for canon and legends. If you're not familiar with the difference between those two groups, check out our handy guide linked in the description, then come back here once you're ready. I'll go through the canon books and comics first, then dive into legends. Without further ado, let's talk Obi-Wan. The first canon book in timeline order actually isn't even out yet, and that's Padawan by Kiersten White. According to the publisher's summary, this book is set to focus on Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon's relationship as Padawan learner and master, while Obi-Wan rebelliously sets off on a mission alone. We're super excited about this book, so be sure to click the link in the description to pre-order ahead of its July 26th release. Next up in canon is Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray. We call this book a masterpiece and is one of our top recommended novels in canon. This book also deals with the often challenging relationship that Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon have, and it's a must-read for fans of Obi-Wan. Following these books on the master-apprentice relationship of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, we've got a bunch of comics and books dealing with the same relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin. And these books and comics are some of the hardest hitters following the Obi-Wan series, as they show the deep bond these two had forged. First up, you'll want to check out Age of Republic Obi-Wan Kenobi, the comic written by Jody Houser and illustrated by Wilton Santos and Corey Smith. The comic highlights Obi-Wan's doubts in his ability to be a good teacher for Anakin. For a deeper comics dive into this relationship, next on the timeline comes the Obi-Wan and Anakin trade paperback written by Charles Soule and illustrated by Marco Cicchetto. Soule tells the story of the duo responding to a remote distress call and being called into a war between two factions. Next, we jump to the Clone Wars with the recently released Brotherhood by Mike Chen. As I'm sure you can guess from the title alone, this book also dives into the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin at the very start of the Clone Wars, as Anakin is no longer a Padawan to Obi-Wan. The book is as much about political intrigue, deception, and conflict as it is an exploration of the characters' changing relationship. Then you'll want to read another recent release, Stories of Jedi and Sith, a middle-grade anthology novel with stories from Roseanne A. Brown, Sarwat Chadha, Delilah S. Dawson, Tessa Gratton, Michael Cogg, Sam Maggs, Michael Moretti, Alex Segura, Vera Strange, and Karen Strong, and illustrations by Jake Bartok. Jumping back to the comics, check out the Obi-Wan miniseries by Christopher Cantwell and with artwork by Ario Andito, Luke Ross, Alessandro Miracolo, Mabedek Musabekov, and Adriana Mello. This series is still ongoing, so now is the perfect time to jump in. And rounding out canon is the graphic novel From the Journals of Obi-Wan Kenobi, written by Jason Aaron and Dash Aaron with artwork by Simone Bianchi, Mike Mayhew, Salvador LaRocca, and Andrea Sorrentino. This series focuses on Obi-Wan's time on Tatooine watching over Luke. Okay, let's hop over to the wonderful world of legends, starting from the beginning. First up is Jedi Apprentice 1, The Rising Force by Dave Wolverton, which features Jedi student Obi-Wan Kenobi vying for Qui-Gon Jinn's attention and hopeful apprenticeship. Next up is Jedi Quest 1, The Way of the Apprentice by Jude Watson, which kicks off a 10-book series about Obi-Wan training Anakin. Now, if you're a fan of the Clone Wars, you'll want to check out the Clone Wars Wild Space, Clone Wars Gambit Stealth, and Clone Wars Gambit Siege, all by Karen Miller, which dive into various adventures and escapades featuring Obi-Wan during the Clone Wars. And after that comes the Revenge of the Sith novelization by Matthew Stover. This is one of our foundational recommendations, and for many of us at Youtini, one of the best Star Wars books ever written. It dives into an incredible level of emotional depth, expanding on the events of the film in a beautiful and tragic, heartbreaking way. Rounding out our Legends recommendations is Kenobi by John Jackson Miller. This is another incredible book and a fitting end to this guide. It tells the story of Obi-Wan on Tatooine in exile watching over a young Luke Skywalker. If you wanted to pick up with Obi-Wan right where we left him, in the desert at the end of the series, this is the way to go. That does it for our guide on everything you should read after finishing Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney+. Legends, canon, comics, novels, Obi-Wan as an apprentice, Obi-Wan as a master, Obi-Wan's relationship with Qui-Gon, with Anakin. There's something for everyone here. And if you've never plunged into the world of Star Wars audiobooks before, this is the perfect time. There's no better time to pick a Master and Apprentice or pre-order Padawan in audio form for free. Just head on over to youtini.com/audible, sign up, and get your first Star Wars audiobook completely free. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.